As promised in one of my previous videos, here is my ultimate preferential matchmaking premium tank showcase episode. Wow, yes, it is over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. And what I am going to do today is simple. I am going to show you some gameplay action on the background featuring every single buffed preferential matchmaking premium tank. Let's talk about what is different, what wargaming did to those vehicles, and how I feel about those tanks now. Everything is just my personal opinion. I know that playstyles are different and whatnot, but many of you wanted to know what I think about those vehicles now. Especially when we have that vehicle trading system active at the moment until October 26th, I believe. You are able to trade in your some of your premium tanks, maybe for those new preferential matchmaking, those newly buffed preferential matchmaking premium tanks, because we actually have quite a few gems over here. So let's get right into the action, and my first vehicle is on the background already, called 1112. Tier 8 Chinese premium preferential matchmaking heavy tank. One of the two preferential matchmaking heavy tanks actually on the Chinese tech tree. But 1112, I have to say, it actually was one of my most hated Tier 8 premium tanks in this game. But now I have to say it is okay. It is a lot better. I didn't hate it that much anymore. And this battle was my first battle and so far my one and only battle after those buffs. I was able to deal close to 4k damage, and it actually felt kinda good, I have to say. Because Wargaming finally decided to buff its penetration value, its gun handling, and its DPM as well a little bit. Penetration was buffed by 11mm, and thank God Wargaming listened to me and to the community. I said originally they wanted to buff all those 175mm penetration guns by 7mm, but they decided to buff it up to 186, so all those 175 penetration guns received 11 extra penetration. In my opinion, it was the only way. I would actually buff it up to 190 as well. It wouldn't change much. It wouldn't change anything versus tier 7 tanks versus tier 6 tanks. Like, absolutely nothing versus those guys. But it would make those tanks better versus tier 8s and tier 9s. A bit better, but not as good as the regular vehicles. So 112, kind of a surprise. Penetration upgraded, shell velocity on a premium shell upgraded, the reload time buffed by 0.6 seconds, accuracy is better, and aiming time was buffed as well a bit. Aiming time is not as good as an IS-6, but still better than it used to be. So 112, ladies and gents, not as bad anymore, in my opinion. And moving on into the next vehicle, which is WZ-111, or the Alpine's Tiger skinned version. Same vehicle, just different skin. Now this tank didn't receive as many buffs as 112 because many of those raw values were already better, for example like accuracy or aiming time was already 3 seconds, but those things were buffed, were still buffed, so a bit better accuracy, a bit better aiming time, shell velocity is the same, and the penetration value for the standard round up to 186mm. And this vehicle compared to the 1112, I would say WZ is a lot better. On the paper as well. It has a bit better reload time, so better DPM, all the rest of the penetration values and alpha damage numbers are the same. It has a faster aiming time, it has better accuracy while it is moving and tank traverse and all that. The only thing that is better on 112 is gun depression, -6 degrees versus -5 degrees. And that is it, pretty much. Okay, the hull shape is a bit different as well. I would say 112 is just a bit better side scraper because it doesn't have that pikey nose. But how often are you able to use it anyway? Only in tier 6 battles, because tier 8s, tier 9s are still able to penetrate you quite easily. And the mobility is also better on WZ-111. A bit better than it used to be, and still a lot better than 1112. Next up, let's talk about TKV5. And I think we can call KV5 as the pioneer of all those changes, because this is the vehicle that Wargaming used in their first article, where they were thinking about removing preferential matchmaking. And oh boy, this released a little, or actually quite a big shitstorm in the community. But KV5 now, I can say, is a lot more playable. It is a lot more playable. penetration was finally buffed. KV-5 had 167 millimeters of penetration. This was the same gun and same penetration as you can use on KV-2, and KV-2 is standard tier 6 heavy tank. Yes, it had crazy good armor, but at the same time it had one of the biggest weak spots in the front of the tank that every single vehicle was able to penetrate. Like literally every single vehicle that this tank was able to see was able to penetrate that frontal little turret. Finally it was buffed, but it is still quite a nasty tumor in the front of the tank, a weak spot of a tumor in the front of the vehicle. And now that previous penetration, 167 millimeters of penetration combined with the old aiming time, with the old accuracy, made this vehicle one of the most frustrating tanks to play with, especially in the 357 matchmaking, or in the current matchmaking template that we have in this game at the moment. You really didn't want to see, you actually didn't even want to see other tier 8 vehicles, but now aiming time is a lot better, accuracy is better, reverse speed is better, and penetration buffed up to 186 millimeters, plus some armor improvements in the front and in the rear of the KV-5. So, new KV-5, a lot more playable, and I actually enjoyed it once again. Next up, IS-6, my old love IS-6. It was my #1 favorite premium tank in this game, like overall #1 favorite premium tank in this game, but when Wargaming started releasing new premium tanks like Defender, like Patriot, well, we had so many different premium tanks in this game, and the new matchmaking template on the top of everything made this tank not super enjoyable gaming experience anymore, for me personally. Maybe you enjoyed, maybe you still enjoyed IS-6 before it was buffed. I didn't. This is just me. But after they buffed its aiming time down to 2.8 seconds, aiming time buffed by 0.6 seconds, which is good. After they increased its ammo rack capacity up to 37 shells, this was actually a problem. I ran out of ammunition in my IS-6 quite often when I had really good battles. Accuracy was buffed down to 0.44, penetration up to 186, penetration for an APCR round up to 225, which is also really welcoming buff, because it previously had only 217 millimeters of penetration, and they also improved the frontal armoring. After all those buffs, IS-6, for me, is back. I enjoy it once again, and I cannot wait to get like 1000 battles in total with it. I have to say, I really do like it. So IS-6, welcome back. Moving on into the next vehicle, and it is M6A2E1, aka M6 Mutant. Tank that used to be one of the rarest tanks in this game. Not so much anymore, and I'm actually kinda mad and kinda sad that Wargaming decided to sell it once again. We had couple of those really exclusive early vehicles in this game, one of the oldest pre-launch vehicles in this game. I wasn't happy, to be polite over here, I wasn't happy. I still do not have my own M6 Mutant. This is a rental vehicle I was able to get to simply make this episode to you, so thank you for that. But I still do not have it on my own, and I have to give it back after 10 days. So I do not have too much experience with it, but let's take a look what Wargaming decided to do. So penetration was buffed again up to 204 millimeters. Interesting. At the same time, T-32 gets 192 millimeters of penetration, which is kind of weird. T-32 needs penetration buffs as well. Wargaming, please make it happen. Dispersion on turret traverse was buffed, traverse speed was buffed, dispersion was upgraded, same goes to the aiming time, not bad, 2.1 second aiming time. Reverse speed is better, vehicle durability, extra 50 hit points, and improved frontal armoring. Okay, so this is what they decided to do to M6 Mutant. Let me know if you have this vehicle, let me know what you think about this tank now. I have seen it doing actually quite good work. People, if they do not know how to penetrate it, are struggling quite hardcore, especially frontally. So yeah, let me know what you think about this new M6. Next up, FCM50T, one of the hardest vehicles in this list in today's episode, especially for newer players and for the average player base. Because it is a heavy tank, it is a tier 8 premium heavy tank, but it plays a lot more like a medium tank. You have crazy good power to weight ratio. FCM50T has one of the best mobilities compared to any heavy tank in this game, and it was buffed even more. Its engine was made better, up to 1250 horsepower engine. Power to weight ratio up to 23 horsepower per ton. Reload time aka DPM was buffed a lot as well, down to 6.8 seconds, which was really welcoming, and gun depression angle down to -10 degrees. But the mobility is the key enemy over here. Many players, newer players and the average player base, they use this mobility to get into the action, to get into the front lines as the first vehicle. And this is where you die most of the times, because you do not have any armor to back it up. The mobility is actually your best defense as well. As soon as you see that one flank is going to fall down, you can use your mobility to get away effectively, efficiently. And you can do some sniping, you can support your team. It is more of a support heavy. You can play it aggressively as well, but to do that effectively and to be useful at the same time, you have to be above the average player base in this game. This is just my opinion, but I am pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to back me up over here. Now, talking about what they buffed over here, well, it was kinda obvious, because they cannot change the entire meta of this vehicle. They cannot add like extra armor plates on the 50T. They made those things better that are already good on FCM50T. This is DPM, this is the power to weight ratio, mobility, and gun depression angle. Extra horsepower gives you better climbing speed, all the vehicle traverse speeds, and so on. So yeah, and -10 degrees of gun depression is always nice. It already had -8 degrees, which is good, but -10 is always better. So, newly buffed FCM50T, definitely one of the most interesting vehicles in today's episode. Next up, Jagdtiger 8.8. Oh boy, what do you say about this vehicle? I think the best way to describe it is, now it is an actual mini Jagdtiger in this game, with a lot weaker gun, with a lot weaker alpha damage, penetration and so on, but with a really good DPM that was buffed even more. So what Wargaming decided to do to the Jagdtiger 8.8 to kinda bring it back into the metagame? They replaced the gun and the AP shells. Penetration was buffed up to 212 millimeters. Vehicle's durability was buffed up to 1500 hit points. It received 200 extra hit points. This is always welcoming. A better vehicle reverse speed, faster aiming time, under 2-second aiming time now. Vehicle traverse speed was made a lot faster by 6 degrees per second. This is really significant actually. And faster reload time, so better DPM. Now you can easily boost your DPM over 3000. Now, how often are you able to use that DPM is another question, but it is over there at least. So, new Jagdtiger 8.8. For me personally, I have to say it didn't change much, because for me it is still kinda slow and it is super map dependent vehicle, matchmaking dependent vehicle, team dependent, gameplay style dependent tank. It comes with a lot of RNG for me personally. But it is a lot better than it used to be. But next up, D26E4 Super Pershing, one of the gems in this list, in my opinion, once again. I enjoyed the D26E4 Super Pershing even before the buffs, but now it is even better. Engine power was finally buffed. This was what this vehicle needed the most. It needed some more horsepower. It needed better power to weight ratio, and it was buffed up to 12.1 horsepower per ton. It is still not the fastest vehicle on the battlefield. It is average at the best, at the very best, but it is better. Reload time was buffed by 0.2 seconds, penetration was upgraded by 10 millimeters, which is always welcoming on a premium vehicle. Once again, hashtag D32, where is your penetration buffs? Maybe in the future, let's hope so. And they made gun dispersion better on the moving and on hull traverse, same goes to the turret traverse, and improved frontal armoring. Now it is bouncing like a madman. I don't know why. Are people missing my commander hatch, or is that little commander hatch blocking thingy, I don't know how to call it, doing such a good work? Because it feels like people are actually kinda struggling to penetrate superversion. Anyway, for me personally, as I said, I already enjoyed it, and now I enjoy it a bit more. I do not love it, but I enjoy it a bit more. I enjoy plus it. You know, enjoy plus? Better than enjoying. Anyway, you cannot go wrong with superversion if you can handle slower medium tanks. A bit more armor, a bit weaker mobility. Yeah, this is superversion. We have only 2 more vehicles to go, and of course one of them is Type 59. The legendary Type 59. This is the first ever premium, tier 8 premium tank that I decided to buy. And oh my god, it was OP when it first came out. It was like a, how to say, it was like a T-54 in tier 8, a premium T-54 in tier 8 with a preferential matchmaking. This was Type 59 back in the days. But after they decided to kinda ninja nerf it, because I think they did some ninja nerfing without saying anything to us, suddenly it didn't feel so good anymore. Like yesterday it was awesome, and today, what the hell is this shit? Okay, now gun handling wasn't the best, and all the other things as well were kinda average, but now almost everything was buffed. New engine, 650 horsepower engine, giving it better power to weight ratio, 18.1 horsepower per ton. Aiming time was buffed, reload time is better, which means better DPM. Dispersion on turret traverse, penetration was buffed by 4 millimeters, and improved frontal armoring. New improved Type 59, almost as good as it used to be, but still not as good as this freaking Roho over here. And of course, Scorpion G was able to snipe me. But soon you are going to see Type 59 once again on my channel. I am not going to say anything why and when, just soon, guys. Stay tuned. And finally, we have D34 free. Tier 8 Chinese premium medium tank with 390 alpha damage gun. Now, correct me if I'm wrong over here. Maybe I am missing something or someone super obvious over here, but I think D34 free was our first Tier 8 premium medium tank with 390 alpha damage gun. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Wargaming decided to buff its gun handling. Gun depression is now actually pretty freaking good, guys. 6.5 degrees of gun depression. Gun depression angle in the rear, 4.5 degrees, minus 4.5 degrees. Penetration was upgraded up to 186. Shell velocity for a heat round was buffed by 80 meters per second. Accuracy was upgraded, and gun dispersion, turning movement, and hull traverse is also a bit better. But still, all in all, this gun is derpy as hell. If you hit something, you can consider yourself being lucky. You still have to fully aim in your shots. I would love to see some aiming time buffs, but then again, if aiming time would be buffed super much, then it would be really good, almost too good of a vehicle. So I don't know, it is a tricky situation to be in. But the aiming time is quite horrific, because it is a medium tank. You would always like to stop, you would like to take your shot, and you would like to move on. But with this vehicle you have to stop, you have to take a little break, a little coffee break, like I'm doing at the moment. Nice sip of cold coffee, because I have been recording like over 1 hour already. But even after that, even after all that I have done over here, you still have to aim for another 5 seconds until you can take the shot, and after that you can move on. So aiming time, gun handling needs to be looked at a bit more in my opinion, but this is just my opinion, keep that in mind. So ladies and gentlemen, this was the 34 frame, and this was my today's ultimate preferential premium tank showcase episode. I covered every single one. My top 3 list. I think Super Pershing is most definitely in that list. Together with IS-6, welcome back. But which vehicle is my third pick into my top 3 list? I don't know. Maybe all the rest of the vehicles are kinda equal. Or maybe Type 59. Type 59 is also really good now. Yeah, it might be Type 59. I am going to say Type 59. Or M6 Mutant. Well, they are all kinda equal. So my final opinion, IS-6, Super Pershing, and all the rest of the guys. Or maybe M6 Mutant, or FCM50T was kinda neat as well. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it was helpful and informative. Maybe it made your tank trading decision a bit easier. This was my main goal over here. Maybe it helped you out a bit. And while you are waiting for my next episode, you might want to check out my Beast Mod Care store, and this game's 1 of 100 is almost sold out. Only 100 units are going to be made, and we have a bit over 20 units left. So, go check it out. Link in the description. I thank you so much for tuning in. Much love, stay awesome, take care, and bye.